Hi guys! So when I first began this project, I had a very basic understanding of filmmaking. I viewed film mainly as recording scenes rather than constructing meaning. However, through preliminary exercises, planning tasks, and the production of my final film, my technical and creative skills developed significantly. By comparing my early work to my original project, it is very clear that I have progressed from simply capturing footage to intentionally crafting a media text that reflects genre conventions and engages an audience. In my preliminary exercise, my focus was mainly on completing the task rather than carefully constructing meaning. My shots were sometimes unstable, and I did not fully consider framing or composition. Lighting was mostly natural and unplanned, which resulted in some scenes appearing flat or inconsistent. At this stage, I had limited understanding of how camera angles, lighting, and sound could influence audience perception. My editing was basic, with simple cuts and little attention to pacing or atmosphere. However, these early exercises were essential in helping me understand the foundations of film language. As production progressed, my approach to camera work became more intentional. I began using shot types deliberately rather than randomly. For example, I used close-ups to highlight emotion and create intensity, particularly in moments that require audience engagement. I also became more aware of framing and the rule of thirds, ensuring that my composition supported the narrative rather than distracting from it. Camera stability improved significantly, and I learned the importance of controlled movements in maintaining professionalism. This development allowed my final product to feel more polished and aligned with my genre conventions. Light was another area of significant improvement. In my early task, lighting was unplanned and dependent on the environment. However, in my final film, I began to experiment with low-key lighting and shadows to create mood. I understood that lighting could influence tone, especially within my chosen genre. By using darkish scenes and controlled light sources, I enhanced tension and atmosphere. This shift demonstrates how my understanding of visual storytelling developed throughout this project. Sound played an important role in both my preliminary task and my final product. In my preliminary exercise, I used non-diegetic background music to create atmosphere. However, at that stage, my use of sound was more instinctive than strategic. I selected music to enhance mood, but I had not yet fully considered how sound design could construct realism or deepen audience immersion. In contrast, for my final product, I made the deliberate decision to rely solely on diegetic sound. This creative choice allowed the narrative to feel more realistic and grounded. Instead of guiding the audience's emotions through background music, I used natural sounds within the scene to build tension. This shift demonstrates a more sophisticated understanding of how silence and realism can be just as powerful as music in shaping audience response. My editing skills also developed significantly. In my preliminary task, transitions were simple and pacing was not always carefully controlled. In my final film, I focused more on timing, continuity, and maintaining narrative flow. I became more confident in trimming clips precisely and ensuring that each cut contributed to the overall mood and the structure of the piece. Throughout this process, I learned that editing is not just about assembling clips, but about constructing meaning through rhythm, pacing, and sound design. Throughout the production process, I faced several challenges. Maintaining consistent lighting was difficult, especially when filming at different times. I also encountered minor technical issues during editing and had to adapt when certain shots did not work as originally planned. However, these challenges strengthened my problem-solving abilities. I learned to be flexible, adjusting scenes and refining my approach rather than abandoning ideas. This experience made me more confident and independent as a filmmaker. Overall, this project demonstrates clear progression in both my technical and creative skills. I developed greater confidence in camera work, gained control over editing techniques, and understood how to use lighting and sound to construct meaning. Comparing my preliminary exercises to my final film shows a noticeable improvement in quality, structure, and genre awareness. This journey transformed my understanding of filmmaking. I moved from simply completing tasks to intentionally designing a media product that reflects conventions and engages an audience. Through this process, I did not only create a film, I developed as a filmmaker.